Hello and welcome. You're watching This Is Exclusive. Joining us on this special broadcast of This Is Exclusive is the former Navy spokesperson, Captain DK Sharma. He is also someone who is a coursmate of one of the Navy veterans who was arrested in Qatar. It is undoubtedly a shocking moment for every Indian. We are talking about 8 Navy veterans who have served our country, some of the most well-decorated officers who've now been served the death sentence for a charge that we still do not know. Captain DK Sharma, thank you very much for joining us on this broadcast. Let me straight away begin by asking you, you've been a coursmate of at least one of the veterans. You've known others as in the capacity of as a colleague. I want to first begin by asking you about the 8 Navy officers that India does not really know about. Who are they and what is it that they have done for the nation?
Well, good evening. Good evening, everybody and all the viewers of Republic Channel. It's a very sad day. Yesterday, when we came to know that suddenly a capital punishment has been, awarded to all 8 of our brethren, our colleagues, our brothers in arms. We don't know what are the charges, what were the charges pressed against them,
right?
How fair the trial was. Given all that, and suddenly you get to know that the highest punishment which anybody can be awarded, that is a death sentence, has been given to them. Keeping that aside, I'm sure Government of India will certainly move all its channels and make sure that these people are extradited as soon as possible. Setting that aside, insofar as these 7 officers and 1 sailor is concerned, 5 of them are executive officers. One of them, Purnenu Tiwari, Commander Purnenu Tiwari, is our senior, and he was the fleet navigating officer when I was there in the fleet. Then Captain Gill is my coursmate. Right. Captain Verma has done his specialization with me for 1 year in Cochin in the Long India School. Then I know Amit Nagpal, I know Commander S.K. Gupta. They were all junior colleagues, and we have been interacting on and off. There are 2 technical officers and 1 sailor. Of course, I have not served with them, but I have heard about them. We have seen them in various bases. So professionally, very, very sound people. They have done their job in the Navy. They have finished their 20 years each. The sailor probably must have finished 15 years. And since they were capable enough, they took a call and took voluntary retirement and joined this firm, Dara Global, as a second career, which is, very normal with anybody of us. If I am proficient in teaching, if I have that acumen in me to teach the subjects which are very, very specific to Navy, that is what these people were doing. They were there at the request of the Qatari Navy. There is a MOU existing that, whosoever retires from here and wants to work over there and wants to train their navies over there, that is what they were doing. I don't know what has happened and what has gone wrong. Some of them were there for a decade. Gill was, of course, there for around 8-9 years. DK Verma was there more than... BK Verma had joined this company before Gill. So where are the fault lines, and how come suddenly they become, whatever the charges are being pressed? I would not like to even elaborate on them because I don't believe in that. So what is the bigger design? We do not know. But as far as the officers and the sailor are concerned, they were above board all throughout, unblemished careers, and they did their service in the Indian Navy. And rightly so, after taking voluntary retirement, they have gone as a second career, which is a choice. And this all depends upon your own capabilities and how much load you can take.
Captain Sharma, what I also find extremely astonishing is the fact that there has been complete silence on this entire matter. Back in November last year is when I spoke to one of the family members. That was the first time that they spoke to any news network, and the appeal was essentially made that hoping that some action would have been taken. It's almost going to be a year and we still do not know what are the real charges. There is absolutely no word about it. In this course of time, were you able to speak to any of the family members the kind of ordeal that they must have gone through that the nation ought to know today?
Look, this is something very private, and I would like to keep it that way. But I'm very sure, I know it for sure, that the Navy, the government of India, various channels, various people in the place of authority have been, interacting with the families, have been assuring them that whatever is possible will be done. But this verdict, this has come as a shock. If you recollect, these guys, all these officers were, picked up, put in solitary confinement. After that, there was no word from them, and suddenly, the pressure built up, and then the consular access was granted. The families were allowed to meet probably once a month or something, and after that, they were moved from the solitary confinement to 2 people in 1 cell. So this was a positive development, and the next logical step we thought and we were anticipating was that once the case is tried in the court, they will be exonerated, they will be acquitted, and they will come back.
Right.
Unfortunately, it has fallen on its head, and suddenly we find that all of them have been convicted, and convicted with a capital punishment, with a sentence of a capital punishment. So this is totally out of the blue. This is a shock out of the blue, and I'm, we are at a loss of words. That if we are at the, I'm saying, not able to, take it, think of the families, think of their children, think of their parents. They don't even know what their kids have done, what these officers have done. The spouses don't know what they have done, what are they being charged with, what are they going to pay for.
Captain Sharma, we are talking about officers who would largely be called as the cream of Navy, with the kind of decorated officers they have been. I was actually going through some of the record of some of the officers, which undoubtedly makes every Indian extremely proud. What is extremely worrisome is this, the very fact that they were in Qatar at the invitation coming in from the Navy, and in terms of the training module that was that they were imparting. What turns out from certain reports that I was actually going through coming in from Qatar, and some of the journalists that I spoke in Qatar, is that a new angle emerges. Now they are essentially leveling charges of espionage. They're essentially talking about other nations also being involved in it, and some also not ruling out the possibility that there could be a company rivalry that could take place. All that put together, does it really disappoint you? Because till today, none of us really know what's really happening.
I can only vouch for one thing, that they were imparting training over there, and they were the best insofar as the records are concerned. That is why Qatari Navy was, renewing their contracts year on year. Had they been not up to the mark, or, not proficient enough, the feedback system is there, and obviously there are many choices available in the world. But if you see that this company was, growing from strength to strength, the strength of the people employed from India was increasing by the day. So professional rivalry, or whatever other things which are now being speculated, I think we should keep them aside and let the MEA and our the diplomatic channels sort this out. And I'm very, very sure that this will not be left unattended. This will be given topmost priority. After all, this is a matter of 8 lives, and it is our, they are our veterans. They have served the Navy, Indian Navy, for 20 plus years each. So I have no reason to, believe that this will not be taken at the topmost priority by MEA and our diplomatic fraternity.
Well, thank you very much, Captain DK Sharma, for joining us on this broadcast and putting across a perspective that many perhaps were not really aware of. And more importantly, as I would say, that every Indian should be aware of the kind of contribution that our veterans have made. Thank you very much for joining us.